Well, let me
focus.
ask one question
Yeah.
before I do want to get to the future and we want to kind of wrap it there, but you introduced a new metric into your this time around that I really like, and that was the number of SMT lines, and you even do then associated with that based on the company size, you can do kind of a benchmark of revenue per SMT line within Europe, which I think is a fantastic metric to have. Speak to that a little bit. This is by the way, and I can only assume that some of this data is gathered on the tours that you and I do. So I think
Yeah.
I should at least get some honorary mention in here.
On purpose, I did not ask for the type of SMT lines the
You mean
company
the
has.
brand?
I did not
Right.
ask that because I felt doing that would reduce the number of answers in that field.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to know what SMT lines they have. And we all know you have SMT lines who are specifically designed for small lot sizes where you have an easy changeover
Mm-hmm.
to a new part number and then continue keeping it running. And that those are normally lines where you make 2, 3, 4 million in revenues with one SMT line. Yeah, so that is very small. But then you have the big ones who are running with 8, 10, 12, 15 SMT lines. They easily can do 40 to 45 million per SMT line. Yeah? Um, and to me, that was an additional indicator to judge the capacity of
Mm-hmm.
these
Yeah.
companies and knowing what their total number of SMT lines is, in addition to all the visits we are doing
Yeah.
in Europe, we know exactly by doing this then what their capacity
Yeah.
utilization is,
Yeah.
and that is as well
Yeah.
an important.
No, I think it's a great addition. I know that that was a new one this time around, and I applaud you for including that because I think that, again, that gives companies, a good benchmark data for their operations, and I think that's what one of the great values of what you provide. So let's get to the future, Dita. We're halfway. Well, we're into third quarter, right? So we're past halfway point in
Yes.
2024. What do you see coming?
Well, uh, my biggest worry is um, now the OEMs are reducing their stores now, and the objective should be that they reduce the stores to the normal level they have, rather than running the stores down to a minimum level. Um, because if they run it down to a minimum level, saying, well, let's get all the old stuff out before we order new one, then we are getting a small wave again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help the industry. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the OEMs know exactly, or they have a plan how much product they want to sell per time period.
Mhm.
Yeah. And based on that, uh, they should define what their normal stock levels are to make sure that they can supply their customers or their distributors. And once they have defined that, then they should start ordering in quantities that make sure that their normal stores levels are
Mhm.
running smoothly again. And this discussion has to start now in September, because it'll take some time, but the companies need the new orders in October the latest. And if they don't get the orders in October the latest, they will not be able to start supplying these orders in January, February of next year. Yeah? So that is the situation which requires the EMS industry, the salespeople, and the logistics people to pay a lot of attention to making sure that this is handled professionally.
Yeah. And I would just add there, I think kind of unspoken in what you said, it's to the OEM customers' benefit to for the EMS industry to be healthy. You want a strategic partner, that which is what EMS have become for their OEM
Yes,
customers, to be healthy and in good shape and being able to make the investments necessary to continue and enhance the business that they're doing for their OEMs. And I think that's gotten a little out of whack in the past, and I think we need to refocus on that. And so it's not just the EMS doing all the heavy lifting; the OEMs are truly partners in that, I believe. So,
yes. Mm.
yeah. So, what are you recommending to EMS companies then, moving forward as we're through 24 and into 25? What recommendations would you make for companies?
Well, number one is once in a while, specifically, I'm being asked this question by people who haven't read the report carefully, is when are the orders coming back? The orders are coming back. No, that's not a question. That is a statement, a clear statement. The orders are coming back to normal levels. We're gonna see growth rates of 5 to 7% again. Yeah. Uh, it starts slowly, and we need to make sure that it starts in January of next year. And that is the thing that only happens if we now get the OEMs to start ordering again when these stock levels are normal and not at a minimum level. But then it all happens on a normal level. The one thing is there is some strange people, again, distributors running around in the market and trying to spread a rumor that we're going to see a next chip crisis. And they argue this by having read something without probably understanding it properly that Foxconn wrote in their last publications that artificial intelligence will pick up a lot, and that will cause a lot of extra service needed. Now, we need to realize one thing. The total computer industry, and that includes servers, has a global market share of about 25-26%. Of this, about 8.5% are servers. So even if now, due to artificial intelligence, the amount of servers would double from 8.5 to 17%, then that doesn't mean that the whole industry, electronics industry, is going to increase by 17%. I learned this business quite well, and my teacher always told me the market never jumps. And you cannot expect that all market segments jump at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
If that was the case, yes, then you had a real jump, but you never have that. Yeah, some market segments are going up, others are going down. Yeah, and if you've seen the last charts, and I have seen that from Prismark for the last 15 years, they show an average growth rate, a global growth rate of only 3.5 to 4%. Yeah, yeah, and there was never a big jump. And again, when we talk about semiconductors, semiconductor is not equal semiconductor. We talk about power chip, we talk about memory chips, we talk about analog, we talk about digital sensor chips, we talk about microcontrollers, and you name them. Yeah. So it's a group. In the servers, yes, we're gonna need memory. Yeah. But the main market for the memory chips as well is the Far East, because memories are needed in the computer industry in general. And so I have made a recommendation to those EMS who got a visit from those nice people from the distributor. It's a specific distributor. It's not all distributors. This specific distributor has a reason why he tells this, which I don't want to mention too much, but kicks them out. Kicks them out. Yeah. It's a waste of time to even listen to those people trying to tell you that the next chip crisis is up and trying to convince you to immediately order a lot of material again with them.
Mhm.
There is no further time for additional parties at the Electronica. So forget
So
about that.
what I hear you saying is that the market is returning, some normalcy will return and predictability to the market, to the industry.
Yes, if we are not
And
stupid, if we
yeah,
are not stupid and
and
acting not stupid, then we will see a normal return of the market.
yeah. And I think, I think you said in here too, stay close to your customers. I read in your report too, is one of the things you're telling people is be sure during these times that you're staying close to your customers and any comments you wish to make about any of that?
Um, no, we definitely networking, talking with each other is the main issue over here. And again, I mentioned it before, use the time to come to Gdansk on the 25th of September to the IPC Day EMS. We're going to have a lot of experts over there, and there's going to be a lot of time to discuss the situation. And my colleague Mareike will give a presentation. I will give a presentation. I will give as well a presentation about the status of the devastating status of the PCB industry in Europe. And so there will be a lot of subjects we can discuss, and where we will definitely talk about
Good.
more solutions in detail.
So I know I've just cherry picked some data points from the slides that you were kind enough to share with me from the half year survey report. So I would just tell the people watching who are interested, I think there's a really a lot of good data within this, and especially for EMS companies, this is good benchmarking data that I think that would certainly benefit and help guide your operation. So I would strongly encourage people to reach out and to look into to acquiring the report. Before I go, I would be remiss, Dita, if I didn't mention, maybe you and I should go on tour again.
I think we already agreed on that.
Yes, we did, and we haven't told anyone. So, do you want to share a little sunshine here? We're
Yeah,
planning the
yeah.
week before Electronica to go on the road again.
Yes, exactly. We're gonna use a week before Electronica to make your trip coming to Europe more efficient. We are this time heading east. We on purpose want to look at Eastern European companies, and in this time, for the first time, we're going to visit some global
Yeah,
EMS companies as well who have factories in Eastern Europe, because number one, and that's another subject I'm going to discuss at another event shortly, the difference in the structure of the EMS industry in the East and in the West. We have 1,750 EMS companies in Western Europe compared to about 400 companies in Eastern Europe, and both groups make nearly the same revenues.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that is due to the fact that we have all the big global players. We have them in Eastern Europe with big factories. We are talking about factories who make 2-3 billion in revenues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. And I think it's the highest time that we don't exclude them in our trips, but we would love to integrate them as well in our discussions and discuss with them about the strategy. And on top of that, yes, we're going to discuss and visit big big factories of Western European EMS as well. And hopefully we're going to go to Lithuania as well.
Right.
And visit an EMS company there as well. And I'm not going to
No.
disclose too much about it at the moment, but we're going to have definitely a lot of interesting things to discuss and tell in our podcasts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's always an adventure. And this one is going to be a little bit challenging between the countries and the travel schedule. But we hope to pull that off. We'll tell you more about that as we move forward. But I think it'll be a great insight into that region of the industry, and including those the more Western based non-European EMS. To have several of those represented in the companies, I think is going to be something we hadn't done before, and it'll be very good.
Okay.
Dieter, as always, I appreciate the work you do for the industry. I think it's a great service. I think keep up the good work. Enjoy your time here in the US. And I look forward to seeing you this fall back in Deutschland.
Yeah, definitely. But we're going to talk before that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. Was a pleasure as usual.
Thank you.